This individual is 100% documented, has all the information on what it takes to be successful, has positioned themselves to generate tremendous amounts of revenue, knows how to have a lot of fun, but most importantly, truly loves helping people. This individual is a retired United States Army major, has been able to successfully accomplish her bachelor's degree as well as her master's degree. She's Series 6, 63 license, and also a real estate agent. Uh, Anything having to do with money and execution of operating excellence, that is who I'm my pleasure presenting to you this evening, hailing all the way from the wonderful city of Jacksonville, Florida, my esteemed colleague, my business partner, and your success coach for this evening, Miss Tasha M. Dyer. Miss Dyer, are you on the line?
Yes, 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 I am here. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much because without you being a visionary, without you pulling this together, this definitely would not have happened. And so I just want to give all thanks back to you. And for those of you all just joining us right now, if you can please go ahead and make sure that your lines are muted. I want to make sure that the information that we provide and that we give out, I want to make sure that everyone is able to hear it. There will be an opportunity to ask questions. We will definitely be asking questions tonight. If you have some questions as we're going through this, of course, this call is interactive. So, but, just for the sake and the respect for everyone else on the call, just please go ahead and keep your lines muted. Now, this is definitely our this is definitely our call where we are learning the skill set of trading. That is what this is. We are here to become professional traders. And I want to go back because we have been kind of focused on a few strategies, and we have been kind of focused on the Sharif and the BYOB strategy. And what I've noticed over the past few weeks of us going over these strategies is that we've had a couple questions. So I do have the information up to go live. I do have all of that. But before we do that, if you're just joining us, please mute your lines. But before we do that, I want to share some information, and I want to kind of get in depth of the strategies. I want to make sure that we all grasp and have a really great concept and understanding of the strategies, because understanding the skill set is really fun, and we're all here to go in the market and make the money. But we have to understand the skill set. We have to understand what we're doing it and why we're doing it. We have to understand every aspect and every part of the strategies, because we want to win our trades. We want to win. Just like when we go to school or we take a test, Mr. Rogers just mentioned us we have degrees. We go to school. We all have some sort of credentials that we have attached to our names. And with all of that, when we go to school or when we get these things, we go test and we go do all of that. And when we do that, some of the things that we do, we go take these tests, or we go and we're happy when we walk out with a 92. We're happy when we do that. And that's what we want our trades to be. We want to win the majority of our trades. We want to have that skill set. And that's what we want to make sure, because if we've been focused, and a lot of the trades that we've been doing have been the Sharif strategy, have been the BYOB, I want to make sure that we really understand what we're doing. So yes, I have the information up, but I want to go into that. So I'm going to share something with you this evening, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about these strategies. That's what we're going to do this evening. That's what we're going to do tonight. So we want to talk about the Sharif. This is the Sharif strategy. If you go into your web analyzer, when you get into your web analyzer, we are diving into the web analyzer. We talked about the Sharif strategy, but we didn't dive into we talked about it, and then we brought up the web analyzer. What we want to make sure we do is we dive into that web analyzer, and we want to make sure that we select that strategy, because we talked about the web analyzer having so many different strategies and so many different tool sets and so many different things in there. But when we go in there, when we go into the web analyzer, we want to make sure that we have that selected. And what you see that's highlighted on here is, we're going to get into that, but I want you to remember these key points, because what you see that's actually highlighted on here is, you see where you have the Bollinger Bands, you have the RSI, and you have the stochastic. These are the three indicators that are very important to this strategy. These are the three indicators that are so very important to this strategy. Now, this is a Sharif strategy. With this Sharif strategy, understand that you are using the 15-minute time frame. And with these three indicators, you want to make sure you have the Bollinger Band. Now, there was a gentleman named Sharif that actually created this strategy. There was a gentleman named Sharif that actually created this strategy. And the indicators that was developed is, you want to use these three indicators, and these are the settings that you need. So make sure you write these down. Is, you want to have the Bollinger Bands, and those are set to 20 and close with a standard deviation of 2. And then you want to have your RSI set to 7 and close. Now, the settings have been 30 and 70. Now, I'm showing you 20 and 80, for 20 for oversold and 80 for overbought. And those have a higher accuracy rate on your trades. So the standard is 30 and 70, but 20 and 80 have a higher accuracy rate. And remember, that's what we're going for. And then the stochastic is 14, 3, and 3. And you want to read pairs with low spreads. So the pairs, when you remember on a previous training, and when we talk about the pairs like the JPY, the Euro and the JPY, the USD and the Euro, when you look at those, not just those, but those are just some examples. When you're looking at pairs and they have low spreads, that's because they have high volume. You know, there's a lot of volatility in those pairs. Those pairs have a lot of activity. So those are the pairs that you want to trade. Those are the pairs that you want to use. So any time frame is going to work, but there's a lot of activity in the London and New York session. So the web analyzer is definitely going to chime in, and they're going to give you pairs. And so I'm not saying that you can't use it anytime, but what has been having a higher accuracy, because you have a lot of activity, is that London and New York session. But yes, you can use it at any time. And you want to make sure you use that and download that Easy RSI app. You definitely want to make sure you have Easy RSI. We posted that in the Facebook group before, but you definitely want to make sure that you have that Easy RSI. Now, the Bollinger Band. When you're looking for your indicators on the Bollinger Band, okay, understand that the Bollinger Band is used to measure the market's volatility. Now, you want to look at the last 2 or 3 candles. The wick of the body of the candle has to be touching that band. If not, do not take that trade, okay? Do not take the trade if it's not touching that Bollinger Band. Now, the Bollinger Band, understand, that's not the indicator to trade off of. We're not trading off the Bollinger Band because that's not the indicator. However, if that candle is not touching it, then we don't want to go any further. The next thing, the RSI, the buy. You want it between, you're gonna take that buy between 20 and 0. So we want that indicator at 20. And then we wait till it's a bullish candle, and that's where we start to buy from. And if we want to sell, when it gets to that 80 on the RSI, and we wait for a bearish candle, and we want to start the candle, that's where we want that sell candle to start from. And then the stochastic, we want to buy. So when that stochastic, and I'm going to show you what it looks like on the chart. So trust me, I'm going to show it to you as well. But we want to buy. So below 20, and then it's going to cross up. And if it's above 80, we want that stochastic to cross down. So that stochastic is going to cross and then it's going to come down. And so I'm going to show you that as well. But those are the 3 indicators that are going to help you have a much better trading, higher accuracy with the Sharif strategy. Then do I trade? Yes or no? Okay, you have to answer these questions. Yes. Do I trade? Yes or no? So do I trade? Yes or no? Bollinger Band. Is my Bollinger Band touching the lower band with the body of the candle? Yes or no? So that's my first question. You have to answer those questions. Then is my RSI below 20? And is the line, is it going to hook up? Is it going to look up? Yes or no? And then is my stochastic below 20? And is it crossing up? So if all 3 of those are yes, then I take the trade. For the sell, is my Bollinger Band touching the upper band? Is my candle touching the upper band with the body of the candle, the wick or the body of that candle? So yes. Is my RSI above 80? And is it look like it's coming down? If that's a yes. And then my stochastic above 80 and crossing down. And then that's a yes. Then I can take that trade. So when I enter the trade, I'm going to enter that trade. I'm going to do a buy or sell on market execution. That is how the Sharif strategy works. So remember, it's the Bollinger Band hit, a strong line pointing up or down on the RSI, the stochastic crossing over. Now, this is a 3 to 5 pip take profit. So because you want to perfect it before you start making any alterations to this. And then you want a stop loss. You want to put your stop loss in. And then it's about a 20 pip stop loss. But you have to understand what's your risk assessment, what's your risk management. So if yours is 10, then do a 10 pip stop loss. If it's 25, do a 25 pip stop loss. But you have to be comfortable with that stop loss. But make sure you modify and go back and make sure you have a stop loss in. And then what is the BYOB strategy? This is a spinoff of the Sharif. Because with the Sharif, you literally have to sit there and watch the trade. You're sitting there and you're watching it. So with the BYOB, the RSI below 30, okay? So you're going to do a buy stop. So you're looking at how far below is my RSI below 30? How far below? Because those indicators are going to line up. Those indicators are going to line up. So, and then set your stop loss 20 pips and below. And I have some screenshots. We're definitely about to, I'm going to explain all of this to you, but I just want you to have this so as a reference point, so you know exactly where I'm going and what I'm talking about when you see it. And then the RSI above 70, you're going to set your sell stop. Like I said, I'm about to show this to you on the next slide. But take profit is 5 pips below your sell stop. So you're going to set your take profit. So when you set your take profit, it's going to be 5 pips. So you want to make sure you want that sell stop somewhere around that 70. But you have to, it's going to determine how far above, when you look at that trade, when you get that indicator, how far above that RSI you are. And then you also want to set your stop loss again at the 20 pips. Now, remember, this is a spinoff, so you do not have to sit there and watch that trade. Now, here we go. These are some of the trades that I'm talking about, right? So if I'm looking at this trade right here, okay, this is on the Bollinger Band. So here we are, the Bollinger Band, remember? And this is important also. If I got a notification or I got something right here, this Bollinger Band is squeezing right here. I definitely do not want to take any trade when this Bollinger Band is squeezing. Even if I look, This Bollinger Band is squeezing. You don't want to take a trade right there because it's not enough activity in the market. Because once it comes out of this Bollinger Band, it's either going to shoot down or it's going to shoot up. Your candles, they're either going to shoot down or they're going to shoot up. So you do not want to take a trade within here. So you see how when I'm looking at this candle, I'm looking at this candle, looking at these candles. Now this candle right here, now remember the last 2 or 3 candles, they're on the Bollinger Band. So this is right. My RSI is down here below 20. Now remember my settings before, yes, I just told you they should be at 20, but previously I just adjusted mine to 20. So that's why on my screenshots, you will see mine that still say 30. So right here, you want your screenshot, you want it to be at 20. But however, my stochastic has not turned. It hasn't turned yet. You see right here on the next screenshot, the candle has started, the candle has started to move up. So I'm going into a buy. My RSI has begun to move up, but look at my stochastic. So what happens? Now I did set, these are the trades. So I set a buy stop on here. So you don't have to sit and watch the trade. The RSI is still pointed up, but the stochastic has not moved yet. The stochastic is still a flat line. And why is that important? Because look what happens. It fakes you out. It turns around. This turns around. The RSI, look at the RSI. These are why these indicators are so important. Because if you actually just go to enter that trade, that you don't want to just market execution and enter that trade without everything being set up. And then look at my stochastic. Once again, it's still there. But what happened? I was able to take profit because my RSI, my indicators lined up. My RSI turned around. And my stochastic right here, this stochastic crossed up and curved up. So my stochastic crossed up and my mouse keeps getting stuck. But the stochastic crossed up and curved up. So what happened is I actually set my BYOB strategy because I didn't want to sit and watch this trade. And because I was able to do that, I was able to take profit on this trade. So does anybody have any questions right now, or are you with me? Can I get a one-on-one in the chat, or somebody, if you have a question right now, now's the time to go ahead and ask a question, because I want to make sure that everybody is understanding what we're doing.
Hey Tasha, this is Gerard. So
Yes.
so essentially what you did is you set it at the bottom to the lowest to where it was, and then you came in, bought the trade, and then it went up, and then that's how you made a profit, correct?
You're talking about when I did the buy stop?
Yes.
Yes. When I looked at it, I set the buy stop about, you kind of have to guesstimate it, but it's on average about 5 pips. So you want that buy stop to be, to be about 5 pips up. You always want it to be about 5 pips up, but you're going to look at how low this is. So that's why you're looking at about the 20, because when this turned around up to about the 30 on the RSI, and I'll have some more slides later, you'll see that when it doesn't hit, I can just cancel that trade out. So I'm not losing the money.
Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. Now,
At this point, I'm sorry. At
go
that
ahead.
point, I know that you said that in this particular strategy, we using like that was a 5 pip take profit.
Right. On the Sharif strategy is designed for about a 3 to 5 pip take profit.
Okay, so for new people, what would you suggest their lot sizes be?
I suggest that you have to be comfortable with what you're putting in, but I honestly do not believe that when you're doing your lot size, I think you should focus on demoing first to get your strategy together and to make sure that you totally understand it. And then I do not suggest that you go big with a lot size, but you have to be comfortable with the lot size that you create as you're developing. But I honestly recommend what, the academy teaches, which is going in your demo account for 30 days. So and anytime you do or test out a new strategy that you have not done before, I highly recommend that you're doing it in your demo account.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, also, I have a question.
Okay.
Because of
And
what?
who is this?
Yeah, it's with this.
No, who is this?
Oh, it's Philip Johnson.
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
Oh, so when you're talking about like tips and all that, like I don't really know, like the words. So I'm trying to follow you, but I don't really know. Do you like go look at the video on like what you're talking about?
Okay, so everything that we're discussing and talking about is going to be in your academy. As the academy as you begin. So because you're just getting started, everyone goes through an academy. So this is not to take, and this is for everybody, not just you. What we're doing on this call is to enhance what our academy gives us. Is to enhance the training that we learn. This is not to replace it. So the instruction and the education that we get from the academy is very, very important. And it's imperative that we actually go through the academy. And that's why that's so important. So once we go through the academy, then what we're doing on these calls actually enhances that. So with this call and then the following call to talk with the finance doctor is actually going to enhance the learning that we get and actually help tie it all together. So you'll be able to understand what the pips are, what we're talking about when we're talking about a Bollinger Band, the RSI, and the stochastic. And so all of that is going to come together. So even just the Bollinger Band, for example, though, the Bollinger Bands are really just volatility bands. That's really what that is. That's just the volatility to measure the volatility in the market. That's what the Bollinger Bands are. And then the RSI.
Everything that we're talking about, we have indicators. One specifically the RSI, and then we have the stochastic, and those are additional confirmations. And the more confirmations you have, that is going to increase the profitability of a trade. So that's the reason why those additional indicators are being shared with you this evening. So we want to start with the right foundation, understanding that as you look at the RSI for a new person who's coming in, just like the gentleman just made mention of, as you go through the academy, you're going to become very familiar with the vocabulary. But one of the easiest ways to get you demoing and get you to a place of understanding and what we've identified is the Cherie strategy, which simply helps you understand as you're looking at simply numbers that are confirming whether it's going to be a buy or a sell. And the easiest way for us to help you understand that is understanding the relative strength index. So you're talking about that number starts out at 70. But of course, and that indicator simply means that it's indicating to you and I that something's been overbought or oversold. So when we're looking at any currency pair, the beginning of us saying that, hey, we want to entertain or look at taking advantage of that currency pair, we look at a number of 70, right? But with the Cherie strategy, the stronger indicator is when that number gets closer to 80. So because it is a market execution strategy, that's why you can look at it at 80 and say, you know what, I'm going into the market, I'm going to execute it. However, for those of you who do not have the time to actually sit there and understand the market, that's how we made the variation of the BYOB strategy. So for understanding purposes, as we're going through this, when you take a look at the BYOB strategy, you can look at the RSI indicator that starts out at 70. And because we know the ideal number to enter into the market is at 80, then guess what? That's the opportunity for you to put in a buy stop, right? So we realize and understand that our real true indicator is going to be at that 80. So you put a buy stop in there, so you make the calculations, so you make the adjustment of entering into that trade at anywhere from 1 to 3 pips above the market execution at that time. And because we know the strongest indicator of that 5 to 10 pip strategy will be 80, that gives you the opportunity to look at that, enter into that trade, and to continue on in your day. Because what happens is, if it doesn't make that 3 to 5 pip movement, then you're not into that trade. So, and then you want to set your take profit at anywhere from 7 to 10 points above what you're actually entering into the market at that execution of that buy stop or sell stop, whichever the indicator is. So when you're looking at the sell, there's and I actually gave you the wrong numbers. The sell. Let me make sure we're correcting this. For a sell, you are looking at a number of 70 to 80. Ideally, if you're operating from a market execution standpoint, then that number is 80. If you're looking to take advantage of the BYOB strategy, you can actually enter into that trade at the 70 mark. But the variation, and make sure you write this down, the variation, if you're taking advantage of the BYOB strategy, if you're going to enter into a sell, you want to enter into a sell stop, and then whatever the market execution is when you enter that trade, you want to account for an additional 3 pips above the market. For example, if you're looking on a JPY and it's at 70.66, so you want to go ahead and enter it in at 70.70 at the sell stop, and then you wait for that time frame to happen. So I want to make sure you were clear on the difference between the Cherie strategy, which has the additional confirmations, and the more confirmation we have makes us more successful and more profitable traders, because each confirmation adds comfortability and stability to your area of expertise in trading. And then the buy is the opposite. You can look at that buy at 30, and the ideal entry point, if you're operating from a market execution, then you want to make sure it hits 20. But if you're not watching it from a market execution standpoint, and you're looking at a buy opportunity, you can enter into that trade utilizing the BYOB strategy when that RSI indicator is at 30, and then you want to accommodate for an additional 3 pips as a buy stop. So that way, when the movement is not going to enter into that market, and then you want to also add an additional 7 to 10 pips for you to take profit. And also you want to put in that stop loss at anywhere from 10 to 20 pips. And then lastly, I just want to close with this regarding the lot size. Once again, the lot size is going to depend upon whatever amount of monies that you have in the account, and understanding that the lot size is also going to be determined upon how you understand and how much your personal daily goal is. So your personal daily goal will determine also what your lot size is and your ultimate financial goal. So I just wanted to kind of bring some clarity to those additional indicators, because what we've been doing is just building upon what we've already been teaching and sharing. And I know some of you are new to the call and this information. We want to give you an understanding that the foundation, what we've been sharing, we've been focusing on the RSI, and now we're just adding additional confirmations with the stochastic and the Bollinger Band. The more confirmation you have, the more confident you can become in your trading. And these strategies are are going to help you digest and look at a chart, and you'll be able to do your analysis in a shorter time frame, which ultimately is going to put you in the highest position of profitability.
So before we move on any further, but thank you so much for that, Mr. Rogers, for the clarification. And before we move any further, does anybody have any questions? Okay, so no questions. We're going to keep moving. So the fake out, and this is why these additional indicators and why these additional confirmations are so important, just as he just was explaining. Look at the Bollinger Bands, and that was perfect timing for that, because look right here, the Bollinger Bands, yes, they're touching on the Bollinger Bands. However, the RSI, that answer to that question is yes. And so these are the three questions that we have to ask that we talked about at the beginning. Now, the stochastic, the answer is no. Okay, so we could not answer yes to all three of these questions. So what happened? The candle's turning around, but the stochastic says no. So without doing a verification of all three of these, you would possibly enter this trade. Now, remember, these are market execution for the Sharif strategy. So it's a possibility you would enter that trade right there. But the stochastic says no. So what happened? You do the fake out. It's a fake out. See, what happened is the stochastic said no. So if I would have put in my BYOB strategy, I was able to cancel that trade, because when it went down, I'd set the BYOB strategy. But because it was a fake out, the stochastic never turned around. So there was no market execution. You have to trust the indicators. Those are three indicators that we just went over. And it's a systematic process of the strategy. So this is a fake out. And so because the stochastic was no, but because I was able, you were not sitting there watching the trade with the BYOB. So I'm able to put in a buy stop. And because all three of the indicators never lined up, I'm able to cancel the trade. I never actually entered that trade. But if I'm going to sit there and do the Sharif strategy, then I'm able to watch it and I don't enter the trade on the market execution, because all three of the indicators do not line up. So all three of these additional confirmations are important. So as you can see, the downtrend did continue. So the trade was never entered. That downtrend continued. And what was important? That's stochastic. So there was no money lost on that trade. And why is that BYOB important? This is why. This is what the Easy RSI does for you. This is a screenshot of my cell phone. Look at how many different indicators, how many different notifications. Excuse me, how many different notifications that you actually get at one time. And this is just what I'm able to capture for a screenshot. So if I'm actually sitting watching one trade, how many different possible notifications am I missing? So yes, while you're learning, yes, you do want to watch the trade to learn the Sharif, to get it right. You do want to focus in on a trade to learn the skill set. But this is just to show you that as you're perfecting your skill set, you want to make sure that you understand both, and how to do the buy stop, how to do the sell stop, because you're able to capitalize on more than one trade at a time. And you do not have to sit and watch the screen to only focus on one trade at a time. That is the point, and that's the focus behind that. Now, this is the thing. Learn the skill set. Learn the skill set. You have to focus. You have to focus on this skill set, because the money's going to come, okay? When we started this call, Mr. Rogers gave you my credentials, okay? You want to set goals. And with my credentials, just to expound on that, and you all have credentials. Everybody has something attached to their name. It's not just about Tasha or what Mr. Rogers has accomplished, or, you know, we're going into a talk with the finance doctor, so what Dr. Bytewood has accomplished. So it's not just about, you know, or when Pastor Bird is on this call, doing these calls as well, it's not just about what's been accomplished, you know, by us. Everybody has something attached to their name. But for me, I'm a retired major from the United States Army. That's what I did. You know, I have my MBA in logistics and human resource management. I have an MS in leadership, financial advisor, which means I had to take the Series 6, 63, 65 insurance licenses, real estate license. With those come dues, NEFAR, MLS, all of the things that go into all of these skill sets. But I'm saying all of that because with what I have, what you have, what everybody has, comes money. Everything has an investment to it. And what you're doing and what you have, you're able for $8.33 a day, $8.33 a day, you literally can learn a skill set that is going to set you free financially for the rest of your life in the largest financial market in the world, period. That is what this is, for $8.33 a day. So no matter what is attached to your name, ask yourself, how much are you worth? $8.33 a day. So focus on the skill set because the money is going to come. Focus on the strategies and get it right. Grow your account and make sure you demo. Make sure you demo. Get in there and learn how to do it. Because right now we're in football season. It's a football game on right now, but you took the time and you're on this call to learn your skill set. But even those football players have to go through preseason before the season actually starts. They all have to go through preseason before the season starts. Each and every last one of them. So no matter what strategy you're trying, no matter what your goals are, set some goals. Make them accountable to you, because what works for me is not going to work for you. You have your own financial goals. You have your own financial means. You have your own what you're trying to accomplish. Everybody got started for individual reasons. Everybody has their own thing that they are trying to do. Each and every last one of you. So your goals have to be for you. What works for me is not going to work for you. But I know what works for everybody is $8.33. That is what works, because even the professionals, the football players that are out there on the field playing a game right now as we train, they went through a preseason. They went through a preseason. So we all have to make sure we get our skill set right before we go live in the game. So I think that, let me see, who is this? Someone has a question? Is XOXO? I have a hand raised. You want to see, do I need to unmute you? Okay. You can go ahead and ask your question. So, do we have any more questions? Do we have any questions or comments where we are right here? Now, one thing I did want to show is, let me see if I can do it. If I can get it to pull up. I don't think I'm going to get to do it. Hold on. Mr. Rogers. So I did want to answer one question that I did have, and it's about, let me see if I can actually share this. It's about a demo account. So you can get a demo account from any broker, right? But I want to see if this shares. So you can get a demo account from any broker. But two of the common ones that I know, I'm not going to recommend any broker to anyone else specifically, but FinPro Trading, all you have to do is go to the website, okay? And you want to just go to the website, and right here it says open a demo account right there. You can actually get a demo account and begin trading the same way you will in the market, and even Trader's Way. So Trader's Way, you do the exact same thing. So I'm not going to say which broker you should select, but I am going to let you know that all you have to do is go to these brokers' websites. And that's the reason why I pulled it up. Go to these brokers' websites. Oh, excuse me, I'm cutting out. But go to these brokers' websites, and all you have to do is set up your demo account. They will give you the credentials that you need to put on your MetaTrader 4, and you're trading just as if it's your live account, to where you can practice these skill sets and do what you need to do to get in the market and be successful. So we're going to pause right here for any questions or comments that anyone has right now.
Hello, I'm sorry, I just joined. Sorry. So you said there was a few brokers' websites that offer the demo.
Yes, they have different brokers that do offer demo accounts, and then even MetaTrader 4 can do one. But if you want to keep up with your trades and be able to work from the computer or the cell phone, you want where you can actually track it, because I do recommend tracking your trades so you can know your success. To where you can actually track. You want to have a trading journal where you can track your trades, so you can know what you know if you're having success, and what your success is. So you definitely want to keep up with that. So I would recommend actually setting up a demo account with a broker, because you can actually have the credentials to log on your computer or from your cell phone. Because yes, MetaTrader 4 will give you one, but I don't, you want to be able to track it, and you can actually log on and actually see what's going on inside that broker account. So it gives you a lot more flexibility than if you just use the one that comes with MetaTrader 4.
Okay, so what is that website or those other ones besides MetaTrader 4 that will actually let you track it?
The two that I just had pulled up were FinPro Trading and Trader's Way. Let me pull them back up for you. Trying to get it to work. Hold on. It's not wanting to work. Hold on a second. Here we go.
Excuse
There
me,
you
just
go. Can
before
you
you
see
ask,
that?
so state your name again and what, because I want to make sure we're getting your question answered. What city you calling in from?
You sound robotic.
Can you hear me clearly? Having technical difficulties. Can you hear me clearly now?
No. But these are the two that I pulled up. Can you see them? It is the FinPro Trading and Trader's Way. Now there are many others, but these are the two. These are just two of them that you can set up. And right here on this one, it says open demo account. Right there. So do we have any more questions or comments? And I haven't gotten any notifications. I did want to attempt to go into there, but I don't have any more. I haven't gotten any notifications. So that just means that the market is not moving as much right now, which is fine. So we only have a few minutes remaining anyway. So I want to take this time for any questions or comments that you have right now. And Mr. Rogers, you back on. You can go ahead and chime in.
Hello.
Yes. Who's speaking and where are you calling from? And go ahead with your question.
Once again, folks, if you are on the call tonight and you have questions, please take the liberty and take advantage of the opportunity to get your questions answered. This call is designed for you as a guest, as a business partner, a colleague. I know you have questions, so simply unmute yourself or type in the chat so that we can make sure that the information that you've been learning from the IML Academy, we're putting you in the best position to become profitable. So in order for us to assist you and help you, you have to ask the question. So we got about another 3 minutes before we transition to our next call. But we want to make sure that the information that we share tonight, that you're clear on understanding the Cherie strategy, the different indicators. So if you have any questions, please get those questions answered. Because if you have a question, trust me, somebody's thinking it, and I just need someone bold enough to express it so that we can all win. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, just want to kind of bring some closure to this particular call and kind of give you our schedule and what we've laid out, our BYOB movement, BYOB Bank for Life. This call is held every Tuesday and Thursday. On Tuesday, just to kind of give you a systematic approach as you are diving into your IML Academy, you'll understand the continuity and how to fully take advantage of this particular call and this type of call. On Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, What we do is we take the opportunity to educate you as a collective consortium, as a group, as a community, understanding the different tools that we have, the harmonic scanner, the web analyzer, and making sure, as you've taken the time on your personal time to go through the IML Academy. And that is very important because when you come to this call, if you have not had the opportunity to dive into the IML Academy, the majority of the things that we're going to be sharing with you, it's going to really put you in a position of not being effective. So it's very important at you take the time to dive into the IML Academy prior to coming onto the call. And write those questions, those things that you're testing, the things that you're demoing. And then on Tuesday night at 10 p.m., we have a talk with the finance doctor, Dr. Craig Bythwood, and you'll get an opportunity to hear from him shortly. And then what we generally anticipate doing is taking the things that we learned on Tuesday from a tool perspective, and we literally go live into the market together that we can all vet, test, whether it's in your live account or your demo account, and then we can actually make trades together and catch pips together. So that's what Thursday night is specifically designed for. And then once again, as you're going through, as you're digesting this information, you have the opportunity to have a subject matter expert. Once again, that's why we have a talk with the finance doctor. So we're talking about having the expertise of someone who's been in this space for over 25 plus years. So whatever possible question that you could possibly formulate in your mind, he's well versed and capable of making sure that by the time you leave this forum, you're in a position of strength. And that's our only heart desire, that's our only heartbeat, to make sure that you're operating effectively and getting your questions answered. So that's who we are. That's why we do what we do. We have a purpose. We're very definitive on execution, and we're absolutely excited. And these opportunities that you have
to invite guests out, and some of the information may be completely foreign to them. And that's the wonderful part of understanding the power of our IML Academy and that IML experience. Literally, a lot of people that are on this call tonight, prior to this information, prior to engaging in the IML Academy, they had no information, no understanding. And because of the system that we put in place, the educational platform that we're receiving, people are literally on a financial journey that they're in complete control of. So we're absolutely excited about that. So if you're a guest tonight, this is your first experience, that's okay. Because our IML Academy is literally designed to take you from pre-K, and then we're going to grow you up. We're going to graduate you, and then this time, over the next 90 days or so, those of you who are new, and this information may be completely foreign to you, you're going to be in a position to disseminate this information to the people that you care about the most. That's what makes this movement so powerful, literally becoming your own bank. So as we begin to transition, just wanted to make sure you understood how to effectively utilize this call. And as we are embarking on literally changing lives, and once again, before we transition to our talk with the finance doctor, I just wanted for the last couple of seconds to ask, are there any questions, any comments, or any feedback of what you've absorbed this evening and how this information is going to put you in a position to become a much more profitable, understanding the different layers and the different type of confirmations and taking advantage of the different tools. So any comments, any questions, any feedback? So we do have a question. The question was, will the finance doctor talk about trading and filing taxes? Absolutely. That's why we call it a talk with the finance doctor. So whatever question that you want to ask, he's definitely going to be in a position to share that with you. And the other question was the cost of $8.33 per day. Is that referring to the IML membership? Absolutely. And folks, when I think about some of you that's on the line and you think about some of the things that you've been able to, and some of you have professional license, some of you gone to community college. And when I think about personally, not even from a business standpoint, when I think about the luxury and the value and the heartbeat of Christopher Terry to put this system in place, I mean, when I think about the rate of return on just the information alone, and when I think about the amount of money that your friend, neighbors, and relatives between breakfast and lunch eating out on a day-to-day basis, we know that they're spending much more than $8.33 a day. And then we have the privilege to learn this information, and then you have people that are willing to guide you and shortening your learning curve. And we get an opportunity to participate in a combined industry of about $11.2 trillion on a day-to-day basis. When I look at this is the power and why you should be as tenacious as possible when it comes to exposing people to this information. And there should be no inhibitions or shame for sharing this information. You should be proud and bold to know that you can literally expose one to this information, and at the end of the day, they have an opportunity to write a new paradigm when it comes to their financial legacy. So great question. Thank you for asking that question. And so with that being said, folks, any other comments, any other questions before we transition?
Yeah, Mr. Rogers, I want to kind of hone in on what you just said. For a lot of new people, when they come into it and they sharing this and they're excited about it, they come across people who want to, like, well, what have you done in it and stuff like that. What kind of advice would you give them on how to address that?
Oh, well, to me, it's very simple. Whether you or I've made any money or not, it's completely irrelevant, because the mere fact of the matter is, this is what, if they have any relationship with a financial institution, then the question should be to them, are you satisfied with your financial institution using your money the way they choose to, lending your money out and not giving you a fair share of it? And if you had the chance to change that, would you? And that's really what it boils down to. Because it's no different than whatever your current place of employment is. People don't go asking you how much you make, right? They don't ask those questions. And at the end of the day, whether you're making the money or not, I tell people all the time, when I took a look at this information and when it was shared to me, I was not concerned about how much the individual was making, because I was not going to be able to have access to their funds. I wanted to be in a position where whatever I can take from the table, I'm in a position to bring it home to my household. And that's kind of how I address that and answer those questions. That makes sense?
Yeah, good sense, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, folks, with that being said, we are about to transition